You are listening to The Vocal Technologist. Spoken tech for your ears.
More bots than people visit time on most days now. We should talk about that.
Yeah, it really is just a profound inversion of, how we think about the internet's core audience.
I am glad we're going to pick it apart. Welcome in.
Thanks for having me.
As a vocal technologist, I love untangling these weird shifts where the internet basically flips upside down on us.
Right. It happens so quietly sometimes.
It really does. And right now, I reckon we were sitting right in the middle of one.
Absolutely.
So we're going to get into the guts of how artificial intelligence is, it is moving way past just being a neat tool we use for summaries or whatever.
Yeah, the passive assistant era is sort of ending.
Exactly. It is quietly rewiring how companies operate, how human teams collaborate, and maybe most importantly, who businesses are actually selling to.
It is a massive structural transition because for a long time we viewed AI as just that, a passive assistant.
Like a really smart calculator?
Right. You ask it to draft an email, it drafts the email. You ask it to summarize a PDF, it summarizes a PDF.
Yeah. And then it just waits for you to tell it what to do next.
Exactly. But what is emerging now is AI as an active, autonomous workforce. It is no longer about just generating raw text. It is about segmented, specialized agents executing entire workflows without, human prompting at every single step.
Right.
And when that happens, it completely alters the fundamental mechanics of how businesses are built and really how they defend themselves.
Right. And to actually grasp the mechanics of that, we cannot just look at the theoretical models.
No, you have to look at the ground level.
Yeah, we have to look at how companies are restructuring their actual factory floors, right, to accommodate non-human workers.
And it is happening in places you would not immediately expect.
Like law firms.
Yes.
There was this neo firm called Crosby. Have you seen what they are doing?
I have, yeah. The AI native model.
Right. They operate entirely as an AI native law firm. They employ elite lawyers, but they have them sitting right alongside top startup engineers building the actual service together.
Which makes perfect sense when you look at their primary target, which is commercial contracts.
Yeah, heaps of paperwork.
Exactly. Things like non-disclosure agreements and master services agreements, these are the foundational units of doing business, right?
Right.
The logic inside them is highly standardized, but reviewing them is incredibly tedious manual work.
Work that usually costs, hundreds of dollars an hour?
Easily. So the engineers are building the infrastructure, the lawyers provide the expert guardrails and the logical parameters, and the AI just does the heavy lifting in the middle.
And they're ripping through these contracts in minutes instead of hours.
It is a completely different scale.
It really is. But the example that really clarified this whole shift for me was Astro.
Oh, the engineering team.
Yeah. So they have this engineering team that basically handed over 200 open GitHub issues to a 4-agent split.
Just let the bots loose on the backlog.
Exactly. And the backlog is down to 30. They actually expect to hit 0 for the first time in 5 years.
That is just unheard of in traditional software development.
Right. Like, if someone told me they had fixed every single bug in a 5-year-old backlog, I'd reckon they were having a lend.
It sounds completely fabricated.
It sounds like magic.
But under the old paradigm of human-only engineering, it would be impossible. You simply could not justify the human hours required to clear a backlog that deep.
Too expensive.
Exactly. But the critical mechanism here isn't just throwing massive computing power at a problem. The actual breakthrough is the 4-agent split.
Right. So let's break that down for someone who, isn't living in code repositories all day. How does a 4-agent split actually function?
So think about the massive hallucination risk of asking a single AI model to just
Fix everything.
Right, just fix my software. When one model tries to hold the entire context of diagnosing a bug, writing the new code, and testing it all at once, the mathematical weights get muddled.
The brain gets too full.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The context window drifts. It loses the plot.
Yeah.
So by isolating the responsibilities, Astro essentially built a highly disciplined software factory. Breaking tasks into distinct, accountable steps resets the context for the AI at each station, which is exactly how you get reliable performance.
It is a literal assembly line.
Right.
Like no single agent owns the whole issue.
Right.
One agent comes in and just reproduces the bug. That is its only job.
Yeah.
Then it leaves a digital sticky note, like a GitHub label, for the next robot.
And the next one picks it up.
Exactly. The second agent reads that specific note and diagnoses the problem based on just that isolated evidence.
Keeping the context tight.
Right. Then the third agent verifies the diagnosis, and the fourth agent actually implements the code fix. They just do their specific job and pass it down the line.
It is fascinating.
And finally, the original human who reported the bug tests a preview package before a pull request even opens.
And just for clarity, a pull request is just a developer holding up a piece of new code and asking the team, hey, I think this is ready. Can we merge it into the main project?
Right.
So the human is only involved at the very end of that assembly line, acting as the final quality control inspector. The AI is completely constrained by the strict boundaries of its specific station.
Which is brilliant for isolated tasks like coding.
Absolutely.
But if AI is now acting like an assembly line worker, how does this actually integrate into a messy human environment?
That is the million-dollar question.
Because I think we have all been in a Slack channel where someone connects a bot, and suddenly there is just endless, unhelpful text flooding the chat.
Oh, the noise is terrible.
It is the worst. If an agent doesn't understand workplace nuance, it just becomes a massive liability.
And that is exactly the friction point companies are hitting right now. Integrating autonomous agents into human spaces requires the AI to understand context and scope.
Right.
We are seeing a real push toward agents that live natively where the humans actually are.
Like where?
Well, take Workos Atlas. It is designed to live right inside Slack, working alongside the team.
Okay.
It is not some separate dashboard you have to go log into. It observes the flow of conversation, it learns a company's shorthand, and it understands the peculiar ways certain teams communicate.
But wait, observation introduces a massive permission problem, doesn't it?
Oh, heavily.
Like, if I ask an internal bot a question about a project and it has access to the whole company's data, it might pull my colleagues' private HR files or like confidential executive memos to answer me.
Precisely. And historically, AI tended to treat the whole company as one undifferentiated user with one giant permission set.
Which is a security nightmare.
Total nightmare. This is why tools like QM are building what they call a multiplayer agent harness.
A harness?
Yes, the harness gives the AI spatial awareness within the corporate structure.
Okay.
It recognizes different scopes. It knows what is personal to you, what belongs to a specific team channel, and what is organization-wide public data.
So QM essentially isolates workspaces.
Exactly.
Employees can use their agent to untangle their own work without the bot stepping on a colleague's toes or leaking data, but they can still collaborate in a shared project channel when they need to.
It creates necessary boundaries. And those boundaries are critical because humans are still figuring out how to actually collaborate with these tools without degrading the quality of their own work.
Which brings up a slightly uncomfortable warning, honestly.
Oh,
Yeah, think about your own Slack messages or emails this week. There is this concept circulating called the meat proxy.
The meat proxy, that is grim.
It is a bit grim. The advice is simple, though. Do not be a meat proxy.
Right.
If your reply to a colleague is just, Claude said, followed by 800 words of completely unedited, unformatted text, you have not actually saved anyone time.
Not at all.
You have just forced your human team to review the model's homework for you.
It is the definition of false productivity. You are just acting as a biological router, passing raw, unrefined data from a machine to your peers.
It is a bit ordinary, honestly, to just dump raw text on your mates and pretend you did the work.
You have to synthesize the data. The entire value of having a human in the loop is synthesis and judgment. If you remove the judgment, you are just adding friction to your organization.
Exactly. By the way, if you are keen to keep untangling these tech shifts with us, make sure your notifications are on.
Moving from internal team dynamics to the broader market, though, there is a much larger consequence to this shift.
Okay, let's suss that out.
If internal workflows are smoothly migrating to chat platforms and background agents, it poses a direct existential threat to traditional external software companies.
Right. You are talking about the companies whose entire business model relies on a human sitting in front of a screen, clicking around a dashboard.
Yes. We are entering what some analysts call the SaaS extinction test.
The software as a service extinction test.
Exactly. For the last decade, SaaS companies could survive simply by providing a slightly better user interface for a human workflow.
Better buttons.
Better buttons. If your menus were more intuitive and your dashboard looked modern, you could charge a monthly subscription.
Yeah.
That era is rapidly ending.
Because if an internal agent can just execute the workflow, the interface is bypassed entirely.
Precisely.
Like, let's look at Airtable. For years, their massive advantage was the no-code movement.
They championed it.
Yeah, they made it incredibly easy for regular, non-technical people to build complex databases without knowing how to write software.
Right.
But that advantage is eroding fast
Very fast.
because coding agents now allow an operator to build applications directly on Postgres databases, which, basically highly structured, industrial-grade filing cabinets for data, just by asking for it in plain English.
Right.
Airtable is even spinning out a project called HyperAgent to try and create a clean break and chase this new architecture.
Because the no-code movement was always just a bridge.
Just a stepping stone.
Yeah, it allowed non-technical people to manipulate software through a visual metaphor. But natural language is the ultimate no-code interface.
Right.
Look at Replit. Amjad Masad, their CEO, talks openly about deploying agents that handle the entire software lifecycle.
The whole thing.
The whole thing. We are talking about an agent that can design, write, test, deploy, and host applications straight from a single text prompt.
That is wild.
When the bot can build the software on demand, you are looking at the foundational pieces of companies that practically run themselves.
Okay, I follow the logic, but I have to push back a bit here.
Go for it.
Isn't it slightly dodgy to declare the extinction of software interfaces entirely? Like, humans are inherently visual creatures.
We are.
We need to feel like we have a steering wheel. If a bot is running complex data operations in the background, a human manager still needs a dashboard to verify the work, right?
That is a crucial distinction, and your skepticism is totally warranted. The visual interface itself won't disappear entirely.
Okay.
Humans will absolutely need a way to verify, audit, and interact with the machine's output. But the value of the software migrates. You will no longer be able to charge a premium just for providing the interface. The commercial value shifts away from the buttons you click down into the proprietary data and the risk management happening invisibly underneath.
So the competitive moat just moves further down the stack.
Exactly. Think about what founders used to call a moat. They would point to user routing, distribution channels, marketplace liquidity, or, a slick UI.
Yeah, the nice app.
In an agent-driven world, those are just short-term leases. They lose their value as AI models get better at navigating the web and executing tasks on their own.
So what actually survives?
The only moats that survive this transition are proprietary data that absolutely no one else has access to, expert human decision-making for complex edge cases, and a closed-loop pipeline that feeds those expert decisions back into the next AI training run.
Wow.
Defensibility sits entirely at the intersection of unique data and risk management.
Which brings us to the part of this that feels, honestly, truly alien. Yeah, it is not just changing how companies build software or how they manage their internal teams. It is completely changing who they advertise and sell to.
The whole market shifts.
We are moving toward a B2B economy, but the B stands for bot. Business to bot.
It requires a radical reframing of the consumer market.
Yeah.
Because if agents are making purchasing decisions, comparing software vendors, and gathering research on behalf of human users, then marketers have to figure out how to persuade the agents, not just the humans.
Right. So let's loop back to that Time magazine statistic from the very beginning.
The bots.
More bots visit Time than people. So Time did the completely logical thing and just started serving advertisements directly to the AI agents.
It is brilliant.
They create these stripped-down, markdown twins of their articles.
Which is perfect for a crawler.
Exactly. For anyone unfamiliar, Markdown is just a bare-bones text format without any of the heavy code that makes a website look pretty. It's incredibly easy for a bot to read.
Very lightweight.
And Time includes a sponsored FAQ in this Markdown, specifically designed to tell web crawlers exactly what a brand wants them to know.
And major brands like Ally Bank and the Project Management Institute are actively buying these placements.
Right.
The fascinating economic angle here is that Time is actually charging more for a bot advertisement than for a human advertisement.
Because the leverage is completely different.
Exactly.
Like if a human sees an ad on a website, that is one single impression. But if an answer engine absorbs your sponsored FAQ into its training data or its retrieval system, it might repeat your brand's messaging across thousands of different user queries in the future.
It scales infinitely.
The catch, of course, is that nobody actually knows how this plays out long term.
No one has a clue.
Will the AI models absorb the ad? Will they ignore it entirely? Or will they view the whole Markdown page as a dodgy cloaking trick and penalize the site? It is completely uncharted territory.
And we are already seeing businesses adapt their actual product delivery mechanisms to accommodate this bot traffic.
Yeah.
DoorDash is a perfect example of adjusting to the business-to-bot reality. They recently had to ship a command line interface. A CLI.
A food delivery app building a command line tool.
Yes.
Meaning, those old school black screen text terminals where you type code instead of tapping shiny buttons? Why on earth would DoorDash do that?
Because AI agents were bypassing user app habits entirely.
Yeah, okay.
A human opens the DoorDash app because it is on their phone screen, right? They are used to the colors, the layout, the friction of the interface.
Yeah, you scroll until you see a burger you like.
But an AI agent doesn't care about the interface. A human asks an agent to order dinner, and the agent just queries the raw data feeds to compare services directly on price and availability.
It just looks at the numbers.
Exactly. If DoorDash forces the bot to navigate a heavy graphical website, the bot might time out or fail, and DoorDash loses the sale to a competitor with better data infrastructure.
Wow.
So DoorDash built the CLI so developers and agents could interact with their service natively through pure text and data.
And OpenAI is leaning right into this infrastructure as well.
Oh, heavily.
With their new ChatGPT ads, marketers have a campaign type that lets them send searchers straight to a business agent conversation instead of a traditional website URL.
Bypassing the site entirely.
You don't land on a homepage, you don't click through menus, you don't scroll past banners, you just start talking to an agent that has been fed the business's product catalog and scraped data.
It removes the traditional marketing funnel. The agent can capture leads through custom conversational forms, process the user's intent immediately, and just bypass the friction of a website.
Yeah.
The traditional web was built to manipulate human psychology, using specific colors, layouts, and emotional calls to action.
Right.
But the bot web operates purely on semantic clarity and data availability.
We are literally splitting the internet in two.
We really are.
One glossy, highly designed web optimized for human eyeballs, and a bare-bones markdown web optimized purely for bots to read.
Yeah.
And the bots evaluate things very differently than we do.
Very differently.
I want to share this anecdote because the implications are actually quite unsettling when you map them out.
The deodorant story.
Yes. Someone wanted to test how these AI models evaluate products, so they spent about $11 an hour making up a completely fake deodorant brand online.
An incredibly low-stakes experiment, but the outcome reveals a massive structural vulnerability for established companies.
Within 30 days, ChatGPT started mentioning this fake brand in its responses.
30 days.
By day 30, it beat a real, clinically tested brand, a product that literally had the National Eczema Association seal of approval for queries about sensitive skin.
That is insane.
And the creator didn't buy fake reviews, they didn't seed Reddit posts, they didn't pay for massive PR campaigns.
So how did a fake site with zero domain authority infiltrate the model's recommendations over a trusted medical product?
It comes down to how semantic search actually works.
Right.
The AI isn't looking at who have the most backlinks or the biggest ad budget like a traditional Google search. It is looking for the exact mathematical meaning of the words.
Semantic density.
Exactly. The creator of the fake brand simply answered two very narrow, specific questions about sensitive skin that the massive, real brands had left completely unanswered on their websites.
They found a gap.
Claude and Gemini ignored it, and for broader, generic searches, the major brands still won out. But for those two specific user questions, the AI found the most direct semantic match, which was the fake site, and served it up to the user as a legitimate recommendation.
Incredible.
The AI didn't care about the clinical testing or the brand legacy, right? It cared that the text density matched the query perfectly.
Which highlights a profound vulnerability in traditional brand building.
Huge.
If we connect all these distinct threads, from the neo firms restructuring how professional services are delivered, to the software factories resolving ancient bugs through assembly lines, all the way down to bot-optimized ads and fake deodorants winning semantic searches, we are looking at a landscape where structural scale and data clarity are just everything.
It makes me think of what Unilever is doing with their creator network right now.
That is the perfect macro example.
Yep.
Unilever activated 50,000 creators during the World Cup to reach 600 million people. Now, using AI, they are managing a network of 300,000 creators.
That is a small city of influencers.
It is. But the bottleneck in influencer marketing was never finding the talent, right? It was the raw logistics.
Sending emails, signing contracts.
Vetting, contracting, briefing, and reviewing 50,000 separate pieces of content without getting identical posts is a nightmare.
Yeah, a total nightmare.
AI can handle the massive paperwork and logistical routing of that scale effortlessly, but there is a hidden cost to that efficiency.
It pushes everything toward the median.
Precisely. It pushes every brand toward the same safe creators, the same structurally perfect briefs, and the same safe, predictable work. Scale fixes logistics incredibly fast, but it does not fix taste.
Right.
And as businesses increasingly rely on algorithms to manage their internal workflows and target their external audiences, they are forced to prove their value to a machine that has absolutely zero brand loyalty.
None at all.
And AI doesn't care how recognizable your logo is or how much heritage your company has. It only cares about the data density and the structural relevance of your endpoints. The raw data feeds you exposed to the web.
Right. We have spent our entire careers optimizing for human attention. We tweak button colors, we write emotional hooks, we build elaborate narratives to make people feel a certain way when they buy a product.
Yeah.
But the next decade is not about human attention. It is about optimizing for algorithmic ingestion.
Exactly.
And if you really want to understand the weight of that, think about your own resume, your LinkedIn profile, or your professional portfolio. Very soon, the first entity deciding if you are qualified for a job interview won't have eyes, it won't care about your formatting, and it definitely won't be swayed by your charisma.
It just wants the data.
It will only care how well your raw data matches its parameters. If you are trying to figure out how to pitch your ideas or yourself to a machine that doesn't have eyes, you are not alone. We'll keep picking it apart right here. Vocal Technologists, see you soon.
Spoken Tech for your ears.